y'all, we are here on Auntie Tay's YouTube channel for another episode of The Sam Show, and today we are going to be making these super cute headbands. It's so easy. It's a little bit of sublimation, a little bit of sewing, and a whole lot of wearing. I'm going to show you a few ways I love to wear it, but there are so many different sublimation files for these headbands on the Auntie Tay membership website. So if you are not an Auntie Tay member, now is the time because these are so fun to make, so easy. Let's get going. Hey everyone, it's Sam from the Auntie Tay team and you're watching The Sam Show. Let's go make some fun things. This is the gorgeous headband sublimation pattern we are going to use. This is printed on 13 by 19 sublimation paper. So if you don't have a bigger sublimation printer, reach out to your friends that do because you're going to need that for this project. So once it's printed off, I'm going to take this 100% polyester poplin fabric that I got from Factory Direct Wholesale. It's a really awesome store that has this fabric. It's called poplin. I really like using it for my sublimation stuff. It just is a little bit thicker than some of the things you can find on Amazon. And all I'm doing is cutting it down to a little bit more manageable size, a little bit bigger than what my design is going to be. Unfortunately, it doesn't rip, but that's probably a good thing because it frays like crazy. Then I'm going to take my actual sublimation print and trim it down just so it's a little bit more manageable to work with. And then you want to pre-press your fabric to get any moisture and wrinkles out of it before you put your design down. And I do this while my heat press is warming up. I will press it at 380 to 400 degrees and make sure once you have it ready to go that you are lint rolling so there aren't any fuzzies on it either. Also, I have parchment paper below and I will put it above to protect my machine from getting any ink on it. Because my heat press is only a 15 by 15, this design is longer, so I have to press it in two separate parts. So taping it down with heat tape is very important, and making sure that your design is flat is very important. So what I do is press it on the amount I can get it for about 50 to 60 seconds, and then I lift it up and very carefully move it over so that I can sublimate the other side. Once it is sublimated, then you just cut it out. It's as simple as that. Use a good pair of fabric scissors. It will save you so much time and it'll avoid a lot of headaches. Now, I love the mismatch look, so I am going to put these two right sides together and sew it so half my headband will be one color and half will be another pattern. If you didn't like that, you could print off two of the same design and then put them right side together. And then the end, we are going to sew that part together to make it one long strip for the headband. So all I did was straight stitch that, and that's all that was. You're just going to leave like a 1/4 inch seam allowance and remove your pins. Go slow. It is slippery fabric. And it can bunch up pretty easily. Also, this is the part where if you need a little bit longer headband, you could add fabric here or have a smaller seam allowance. Or if you need a smaller headband, this is where you could have a larger seam allowance and make it a little bit smaller if the bunny ears are a little bit longer on you. This you'll learn after your first one. Then once you have it a long tube, you're just going to fold it over and make it a long, narrow tube and pin it. Add as many pins as you want. I do it about every inch, 2 inches apart. And then you are going to want to leave a gap opening about 2 inches wide at the middle-ish part or wherever you want to. It's easier in the middle when you turn it around. So just keep that in mind when you're pinning. I normally keep a gap with my pins so that I know that I'm supposed to stop sewing right there. Then once again, you're just going to do another straight stitch, and be sure you're using coordinating thread when you're making these too. That'll be easier for you, just in case you see any of the thread that it matches. And for this, I did a little bit less than a 1/4 inch seam allowance, just because the one little spot can kind of be tight, but just go slow around all the curves. When you need to move and reposition your fabric, be sure to keep your needle down when you do that, so you don't miss any spots stitching it. And just be careful around like the very tips. They like to get bunched up, and make sure you back stitch every time. Just basic sewing stuff. Watch April's Sewing 101 episodes on Auntie YouTube channel too if you need a refresher on any of that stuff. So the very tippy corners, you're going to want to trim those off. And then based on the amount of seam allowance, any of those little dips and curves, you're going to want to cut little chunks out. I didn't really have that much seam allowance because you just want to be careful. You don't want to actually cut into it. Then you're just going to turn it inside out. If you have a chopstick or a dowel or a tool to turn it inside out, makes it a lot easier for this particular project because it is a long, skinny tube. I use my scissors and it works eventually. You just got to go slow so you're not going to rip any of your stitches, and just wiggle it to get it through. And then make sure you're really pointing those ends for the corners for the bunny ears. I am taking 22 gauge jewelry wire, and I think this is what makes this headband so awesome. I typically don't like headbands because they slip off my head, but the wire in this makes it so you don't have to wear it super tight, and it makes it so much more versatile. So measure out a piece that fits your headband, and then you're going to want to bend the end of the wire over on itself so that it's not going to poke through. And you're going to do that on each side so that you have wire that goes from all the way to end. So with that bent end, just make sure you're getting it in there and feeding it through, and trying not to loop the wire around any which way. It can kind of be a little finicky, but just put the wire in. And with that opening, then you can either glue it or top stitch it like I do, and that's where the coordinating thread makes it easy. But you have a headband! Now I want to show you real quick a couple ways I love to wear it. So for the traditional bunny bow look, I'm just going to take my hair and flip it all over the headband, and then take a front section on each side to put in front of the headband so it kind of goes up to the middle of my head. And then with the wire, this is what makes it so easy. You just twist it, and you can twist it as much as you want. With this headband, I didn't make it smaller for my size head, so the bunny ears are a little bit bigger. But then you can keep twisting it if you want little smaller bunny ears, or if you want the colors to be on the same size. But I think it's super cute. They were a little big on me here, so I twisted them a couple more times. It kind of makes a knot and looks like you actually knotted it too when you do it a few more times like that. But there, that looks even better. Now, what I didn't show that I'm actually getting more ideas while I'm thinking of it is I could then take those bunny ears and tuck them back down into the headband, and it would kind of look like one of those woven headbands. Or you can do like what I'm doing here, and you just kind of loosely wrap it. And this is where, if you have the wire all the way to every end, it's a lot easier. But if you don't, just tuck those ends of fabric in, and it kind of looks like a flower or just a knot. Isn't it cute? I love this look. I think it's adorable. Now for the next look, I'm putting it flat against my forehead, and then just twisting it in the back, and it gives you like that bandana look, you know, the boho vibes. I'm feeling it. And then you can move it to the front and do that knot the same way we did it before. Oh my gosh, these are just a couple of the ideas I have. If you guys have different ways to wear it, maybe you can braid it into your hair. I don't know. There are so many different ways. I love this. I'll be wearing them all the time now. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks you guys so much. I hope you had an awesome time, and I cannot wait to see you guys make these and wear these. Have fun, and see you next time on The Sam Show.